Jackie Chan says he wants to become a member of the Chinese Communist Party. You might remember Jackie Chan from his movies. However, the South China Morning Post says that China does not want Jackie Chan, citing some who think he would be disqualified because of his alleged moral failings. Chan's remarks also upset his fans outside China, who said they were designed to keep Beijing happy and allow him to continue to promote his films inside mainland China. And let's welcome in now Gordon Chang, author of The Great U.S.-China Tech War and the Coming Collapse of China, to talk more about this. Hey, Gordon.
How you doing, John?
Well, we talk about a lot of serious stuff here, Gordon, and people might think, well, Jackie Chan, who cares? Haven't seen one of his movies in a while. But I thought there were so many interesting aspects of this story. Number one, Jackie Chan is from Hong Kong. You know, obviously Hong Kong has been a very important part of kung fu films and cinema. Why is this so significant? Why would Jackie Chan, or Jack Z Chan as we call him on the Super here, why would he be pledging his allegiance to the CCP like this?
I don't know why Jackie Chan feels this way, but I think that he probably would like the Communist Party to greenlight his movies in the mainland. And so therefore, he's got an economic incentive to say these things. Jackie Chan may actually believe this. I don't know him. But whatever it is, he's craven. I mean, he just comes off as a sycophant. And I suspect that he's probably got a DNA gene somewhere that says that he needs to be subservient to China's Communist Party, because that's what he is.
And, you know, this is a trend, unfortunately. We saw John Cena do this as well. And we've seen others. Elon Musk comes to mind, not an actor, but, you know, he prays all over the Chinese regime. Why are they doing this, Gordon?
Well, in the case of Elon Musk, he's got a real problem in that China right now is going after Tesla hard. And it's not inconceivable that he could lose his China operations because there's unrelenting propaganda against his products. I mean, they got his factory. They've got his technology. Now they don't really need him. And so I'm sure that Elon Musk has got to the point where he thinks that, you know, getting down on his knees metaphorically is the thing to do.
And, you know, this kind of brings us back to the film industry, because I was reading a story about the new Marvel film, The Black Widow, and it's having real problems inside China. It's been released in Hong Kong, released here in the States, but the release date in mainland China has been delayed. There's also been massive piracy of this film. Now, I mean, Disney Plus does not exist inside China, right? But that's the only place where this has been available. And the Chinese Communist Party is really good at shutting down any kind of content they don't like inside China. So did China try to sabotage the Black Widow with piracy?
That's entirely possible. I mean, we really don't know. Whatever the Communist Party did, it's always going to be up to the Chinese people to pirate stuff. They do this all the time. And so they don't need the party to tell them to do it. But what happens here is that the party doesn't stop them. So whether the Communist Party told people to go out and pirate the film or not, the party is responsible for this.
Yeah, and, you know, that wasn't even my implication there, but, you know, like I said, they can certainly shut it down if they wanted to, and they didn't. Another thing I wanted to ask you about real quick, Gordon, is there's a guy named Kyle Bass. He's a billionaire, and he's actually warning that China's digital currency, like their Bitcoin, could cause significant financial damage here to the U.S. He compared it to a cancer. We've also heard about certain people pushing to ban members of the Chinese Communist Party or business elements from inside China from buying land here, farmland in the United States, banning Chinese businesses from being traded on U.S. stock exchanges. Is this effort going to gain any steam? Because it seems like it's important to push back against China.
I think that it will, especially the land issue. You got to remember that a Chinese party bought an enormous tract of land near Laughlin Air Force Base in southern Texas. And this cannot be a coincidence. And there can't be any innocent motives for this. Although the buyer said that they wanted to set up a solar farm, I just don't believe it. Also, we know that through Kansas and Oklahoma, and I'm sure other states, Chinese parties are buying large amounts of farmland. I think it's partly because China right now has a crucial food shortage, which will turn into a critical one in a few years. So I think they're trying to buy farmland around the world. But nonetheless, I don't think that this should be permitted. And the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, CFIUS, should have blocked many of these purchases.
Yeah. Well, maybe they should just make the Chinese apply to the same rules that they make American companies apply to when they operate in China, and then, you know, things would be fair. That was actually part of President Trump's push for the trade war, but we know what happened with that. Gordon, great to see you. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, John.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.